Hi, my name is Emily Talbot, and the title of my presentation is Sustainability Focused Podcasts Maximizing Reach and Impact. And I did this project with the Utah Bothell Sustainability Office. The reason my work is important is because podcasts can be used as a tool to inform audiences about sustainability issues and augment environmental organizations' communication efforts. Podcasts also have numerous advantages over other forms of media, including that they're relatively easy and inexpensive to produce. And for the listeners, they have the benefit of being asynchronous. So they can be downloaded onto portable devices and listened to whenever. My research question was, what are the best practices for cultivating an audience for sustainability focused podcasts? So my internship was at the Utah Bothell Sustainability Office. And the work that I did was that I developed a podcast miniseries focused on sustainable living for the Common Cause for Sustainability podcast. To answer my research question, I distributed an online survey to the audience of the Common Cause for Sustainability podcast. And I also did a literature review on podcasts, behavior theory, and environmental communication. The survey evaluated listeners' prior familiarity with podcasts, their engagement with the Common Cause podcast, and its impact on sustainable choices and their awareness of sustainability. There were two main takeaways in the survey results. The first one being that most of our listeners reported to frequently listen to podcasts 10 or more times per month prior to listening to Common Cause for Sustainability. So they were already familiar with podcasts. And most comments implied that they already had a prior interest in sustainability before listening to the podcast. So from these findings, I was able to characterize the target audience of a sustainability focused podcast as a group of people who are interested in sustainability and are active podcast listeners. And knowing these two things, I was able to identify the limitations of growing a podcast audience, which is the topical barrier, so interest in the subject, and the technology barrier, familiarity with the technology that is being used, which in this case is the podcasts. So the implications of this are that podcasts are usually, since they're specific in subject matter, they appeal to niche audiences. And podcast listeners tend to seek out podcasts that are related to their specific interests. So the success of a sustainability podcast largely depends on reaching and engaging those who are already interested in sustainability and are familiar with podcasts. And once we're able to reach that core audience, we can do further research on how to uh, go beyond that and get more people interested in sustainability podcasts. I would like to thank my site supervisor, Alexa Russo, and my faculty advisor, Alexa Schreier. And if you have any questions about my research or my internship, the podcast, you can find me on Twitter at Emily L. Talbot, and you can tweet me any of your questions. Thank you for your time and for listening to my presentation.